So, first workout back, squat and deadlift with my coach, Pete Rubish, and we're getting ready for USPA Nationals. It's going to be the end of May, and I'm just coming off competing in strongman. Just did a meet just this last weekend, so definitely still a little bit sore from that, but we're right back to it because I like to compete back to back like this, which I don't know if I'd recommend. It takes a toll on the body, and I'm 40 years old, so it's probably not the smartest move, but I didn't compete a lot when I was younger and first getting into the sport. I would take whole years in between doing meets, and so kind of feel like just behind the ball and competing, so I've been spamming it now. And, since it's a mix of strongman and powerlifting, it's been fun to do. But, yeah, it was definitely a wake-up call when I looked at how many weeks out I was after completing that strongman meet. So 10 weeks, and, sorry, there's a train going by in the background. But, yeah, so, right back to it with these workouts. This is beltless deadlifts. We worked up to 485, which is pretty darn light for me. But doing it beltless for 2 sets of 8 made them super explosive. I normally would do my warm-ups without the grips on just to get the feels of grabbing the bar, but I had a big old hole in my hand from doing 300-pound per hand farmer carries at that strongman meet. I actually had to have the skin flap that came off cut off because it was so big. It was gonna get worse, and it was bleeding super bad. So I had one of my clients actually cut it off with a pair of scissors that her friend had in her purse. So that was fun. These went super well. I was actually worried looking at it because 2 sets of 8 could have been exhausting or some kind of big cardio event. But in that strongman meet, I was training for deadlift for reps. And I actually ended up doing, it was supposed to be 705, but they couldn't even fit that on the bar the way their plates were. So we ended up doing like 685, and I think I got 7 reps, or got credited with 6 reps. Didn't quite lock out the 7th. So, this wasn't too big of an ask for my body. I was pretty well trained for this. Looking at the program, I thought this was going to be the hard part. Turned out it was actually the squats after this, which was also beltless, sleeveless, but 5-second eccentric down, which was the hard part, and then 2-second pause, which I love pause squats, especially with an SSB. But yeah, the 5-second eccentric was brutal. I didn't do those in the warm-up, so here's that first set. So 5 seconds down, 2-second pause, back up. Absolutely brutal. This was 408 pounds or so, which normally would just feel like nothing for me, but man, it was tough. It was very hard on the core, which I was surprised by. I thought it'd be more of like a leg thing. Although I will say this, recording this a couple of days later, my legs are definitely a little bit sore. There's a new stimulus for me too, which, my coach had said, these are all new. I've never really done tempo or eccentrics. I've done lots of pause, deadlifts and squats. Huge fan. But now we're getting into some eccentric loading stuff, 5-second loading. We've been doing it on bench too, which I'll post some videos of. But yeah, those were brutal. So when I did this next set, I actually had somebody count my eccentrics and my pause for me because I knew, under the fatigue, the counting just gets very different in your head. And 5 seconds feels like 25 minutes. So definitely could have been slower. That was the feedback I got from my coach. Could have been slower about these 5-second eccentrics on this second set, but the pauses were good, and they moved fine, so that was good. So overall, good workout. New structure for this training. We're doing squats and deadlifts so far, at least, on 2 different days. And then I'm doing 3 bench days, so 5 days total. I've often done 4 days where it's, 1 squat, 1 deadlift, and 2 benches. And that's what I give to most clients because this amount of frequency and volume can be super hard to recover from. So we'll see how I do when we get into the later weeks of it. But yeah, this was tougher than I thought. And then we did some back extensions. This was actually a treat after all of that. At this point, I'm known for these. I've done up to 512 pounds, and so this is 331. And all that I was told different was super long holds at the top, which, no problem. I think at points I'm up here holding while talking to people. But these always feel really good. I did get a nice pump in my back. Sometimes you feel them in your hamstrings or your glutes. It's actually a good test with like a new client to see where they feel them, and you can kind of tell what's weak. And then I'm adding in here, this is a PR lift from one of my clients at Unit Strength Gym, where I coach morning classes for her. She's been training with me for about a year because that's when I started coaching. And so see how far we've come. This was a 308-pound deadlift. She absolutely smoked it. Super cool. Cassie's just gotten so much stronger over the time that we've worked together and just really bloomed. And she's doing a powerlifting meet coming up.